chia mu nyina biem awia so esa hia wa ha na koso na recommended the True Football Fans channel na ma mo se bu behwe mo be subscribe mo be share na afi mama feedbacks, especially commenting on videos how they post to near there. And the Black Stars is here kind that were in Jamina Chad Ahinkro against Chad national team, you know. Full time Chad Sheba Kuma Ghana Sheba Jordan Ayew and I share the first goal of the game, but late in the game na charge for Ninya equalizer. What it means, and it's a Chad Afi Momonya on first point of this qualifying campaign. And it is against Ghana, surprisingly against Ghana. Kofi Labiwa ha menene ba be di match na honkomo. Kofi akwaba.
Yeah, senior.
Biabo kodie.
Oh, ejinem.
First of all, minim how be describe score line 1-1. We are shocked, we are surprised, and as we feel say a true reflection of the game.
I think a shocking and a big embarrassment to the technical team and the playing body, because they came up against a side that clearly on the pitch they weren't playing anything better, and yeah, like any of those typical games Abu say on the pitch the opponent is really putting up a fight. The guys are clearly not good. The only thing they had in the game the presence of Raul Savoy, the head coach. And for me, I think generally it is a very disappointing, embarrassing and shocking scoreline. And yeah, witness between Chad and Ghana.
Good. What really went wrong? Because it was like you started game now, you could see this urgency from the Black Stars now form. The desire, there is no sense of urgency. I mean, it was just one of those boring games I've been with the Black Stars in the ball. Now yeah, messy up scoreline in there. What do you feel went wrong? Dear now my boys named to me more to the ability, and the Black Stars, it means the Black Stars beat my own any day.
You see, I know say upon our return to Ghana, on the site the issue of AstroTurf. But I don't buy those things, because I mean generally footballers ejina pitch so if the pitch is good, it's good for all the players. It's bad for all the players. Even the Chadian national team, this was the first time they were playing on that turf, so it's not as if for me used to that particular turf or man ball consistently over a period of time until AstroTurf or me used to it. And I players no ball hybrid pitches in Suntino, we are very unusual to them. More of attitude, technical deficiency. Clearly public knowledge say we don't have a good coach on the bench. The only reason why Otuado is still the head coach of the Black Stars, say the GFA president a close friend, and that a person will go every length to build Otuado, maybe for something in future. But say we can say a Jumano any what he has and the qualities are what demonstrated so far now, what demonstrated gross incompetence when it comes to the national team. You see why I say this? Because any one of those coaches are used to the Black Stars. Even before say Otuado Ebenya the chance to manage the Black Stars as an interim head coach, no a part of the backroom staff. So he was prepared, he was built for it, just like in the days of Mr. Kosinyan Techia. Omuye in a project say, yeah, foreign coach Biana, we have a local coach to understudy him. And Mr. James Kwesi Appiah was the first beneficiary of that thing, right? And at some point when Kwesi Appiah was given the opportunity in 2014, he became the first Ghanaian to qualify Ghana to the World Cup, or make a statement. But in the case of Otuado, he was prepared as a member of the backroom staff. Then at some point before 2022 World Cup, now EPE qualification in Wayedeno, we decided to set up a 5-member technical team and a year in the head. So in 2 games against Nigeria, it was the same performance. So I remember after that game in Nigeria Babayara Stadium, the general conversation was that coach Ninyade, but because we went to Nigeria, I kobo 1-1 any qualification, we forgot about everything. Then we went to Qatar. And clearly in 3 games or expose here, say, I mean, we don't have a good coach on the bench. So the reason why he parted ways with the Black Stars, then all of a sudden, Cote d'Ivoire AFCON. Again, a very disappointing performance from the Black Stars. Then we come, and you see, you're setting up a criteria, I pay a new coach. And one of the key things I outlined here, say we need a proven winner. Then, to the surprise of the entire nation, the FA went ahead, abandoned all the things they had outlined, and Omokofa Otto Addo, who is never an achiever. Even when we parted ways with him after Qatar World Cup, no, he went back to Dortmund, not as Obia were improving Konenima promoting from junior team then about senior team, or handle the senior team as the man in charge of the dugout. He still went back to Dortmund as, I mean, a scouting person. I mean, youth team. Then we went for him. So from day one, we've had it wrong when it comes to the man leading the Black Stars. And clearly today on the pitch, we saw it. Look at how our line up: Inaki Williams, Semenyo, Jordan Ayew with Kudus. He was just running them around each other with no clearly defined game plan with specific roles to individual players. So Pesobo Kudus at the number 10, Abon Kudus as a number 10 in a typical 4-2-3-1. I don't see why in a game Ghana Yeboah I will see Semenyo, Kudus, Jordan, and then Inaki at the same time on the pitch. Duplication of functions. And the coach clearly from day one, the setup it was a confused setup. For example, in the 2 players or midfield, no, Elisha and Salis, 2 defensive midfielders. You are playing against Chad side. You have to open up, dominate, beat them heavily. Then you are playing 2 defensive midfielders. So sometimes it's like a 2 pivots. Sometimes it's like what dropping Semenyo, Babeka, Salis, and Elisha Wamanaye, 3 men in the midfield. So clearly the coach is confused. Why do you put Thomas Partey on the bench? Why? Why do you put Obiti this centre back here, Saddam Ten to Monaco, Salisu on the bench? Why? Because he has been playing consistently for you. And this is a World Cup qualifier, right? You needed 3 points at all cost. So why do you bench Partey? Why did you call Partey?
From all what you are saying, any decision to bench certain players, do you see the Mali game at sight? Say, University Salisu, University Partey, of course, Nyajiku because of transfer issues are now also dealing with, and then Joseph Pencil, so flight issues into any amount of time. To obviously against Mali, we have our best team. No, it's not Paradium, but we're just Chad. I mean, with any kind of players, we can beat them. Or underrate Chad for now.
So why do you underrate Chad? Because I mean, in recent times, Ghana Black Stars, a dominant force still in African football. I want the audacity to underrate an opponent. From the lineup, clearly you could see, say, the head coach felt like, oh, this is Chad, so let's reserve some energy and wait for Mali on Monday in Ghana. But it's completely wrong, because your players until the last 2 games against Chad and Madagascar, who were humiliated by the likes of Sudan and Niger in the AFCON qualifiers. So there's nothing like was a underrated opponent, and that's why from yesterday some of us we kept saying they cannot come back to Ghana with any excuse, which means don't go and underrate them and come and tell us we thought that it was an easy game, we could manage some players and wait for the Malian game. That's completely wrong. Put up your best arsenals, get the 3 points, and plan for the Mali game. It's as simple as that. And from the onset, coach Dinyani wrong. And then comes the attitude of the players. I was equally disappointed in the attitude of our players. And I've always said, ever since our Black Stars declining in Ano, part of the key reasons in Tia, declining players' attitude on the field. Those days, especially when we fought for a first World Cup qualification in 2006, you could see that kind of determination and some sense of urgency on the part of players on the field. every single player from the goalkeeping to the defense to the midfield and the attack.
And your coach Ejuma Kofi.
Good, but sometimes players
No,
you have to
like
rise.
So you could now in a bench, then you see the attitude of the players, no, and one a bit more results. What do?
So coach need the Amakaso no disappointing. He's not be there at all. He's not fit for purpose. But I'm looking at the individual players. For example, Kudus, Jordan, Inaki, and then Semenyo. All these guys. Me sure say on the person year World Cup no motivate. I don't think so. So there are times when your coach is disappointing, when fans are not there, players rise to the occasion. Actually, say they are big players. They want to do something for themselves and for the nation. It is a World Cup qualifier. This is not a friendly game. We and AFCON qualification game. A World Cup qualifier. So every game is important, and you expect players to put in the right attitude. I don't think, say, Jordan Jinapich Niswa, it should take at the level. It should take a coach to shout and shout and shout on him, say, obey, determined, committed, obey, show seriousness on the pitch. I don't think so. Look at Raul Savoy, and look at the one Onya equalizer for Madagascar, Celestine. He plays for ASEC Mimosa.
He is left for Yanga.
Okay.
Yeah. ASEC last season. This season we call Yanga.
Absolutely. Obo Africa here. And look at Bona or Piki and then they run. No? Clearly you could see a player all running to go and get something. It was not about coach say go. The player felt that on that particular occasion, let me push, let me try and get something. Yeah, that form we are at home, let's fight for the equalizer. So the determination was great.
The opposite reaction of young players, no, looking at him, so the ball banu dinechi, no, no, kolum dinechi, and it was like wow.
Yes. So it was as if there is nothing at stake. And the players' no attitude, very disappointing. Coaches no, very disappointing. At the end of the day, I think 80% technical issues, 20% attitude.
Well, how bad of a result now we are Ghana, because they say Mali ball Comoros 7 p.m. and so a win for Mali, which I think they're very difficult to do, but a win for them Ebema game against Ghana on Monday if with 70% strength, they will have to double up and make it 140. And meaning South Korea in the impact between the rest of the games and chances of qualifying.
You see, the good thing for Ghana is Comoros, Madagascar, Mali, Omuna will be a chance of qualifying. And yeah, 16 points now, right? With 12, 10, and 9 points. All of them fighting to come up against Ghana. And Emma. Yeah, space kakre betimi ahome. Because those who are coming to compete for the number 1 slot with us, 3 countries will be in a position to get to that particular place. But the problem then is Mali intentions are clear. Get a win today, come to Ghana and fight for another win. And the Malian side, if you look at young group in the countries, a woman in Anwa, or money the only country almost war players war some kind of exposure. Over Madagascar, over Chad, over Comoros, they don't have players exposed that much. But Malians know players who are exposed. On any day when they come to the party, they can disturb you. So that is where the danger is. And clearly, they will fight for a win tonight. And then on Monday, look for another win. Because you see, 9 points. A win for them today, ebe champion to 12 points. Then a win for them against Ghana on Monday in Ghana will push them to something like 15 points. They will still stay in the competition, awaiting for the last 2 games in October. And clearly we have a space a bit media home kakra, and the fact that we will play Mali here in Ghana, backyard, and we have some space a bit media home. But the performance generally and the decisions of the technical team, Enema as a Ghanaian, that confidence in the team. It is not over yet. We still have a solid chance of qualifying, even though you draw and but generally, I think it looks dangerous. Yes.
All right, Kofi, last words now, Yemvenzi.
So my last words, yes, as quickly as possible, let's make a change when it comes to the technical direction of the Black Stars.
The GFA should fire Utuado.
Absolutely. Look at something. And a boy against Chad. Or coach Raul Savoy. Now they are happy here. In the last 2 games, Chad Elusu, they had to part ways with coach. They didn't talk about the fact. Even Chadu, I know, were always an underdog. Coming up against Mali, Comoros, Ghana, Madagascar, Chadi, Kumbia, Omuna, Yeretium as the side, let's say 0 chance of getting something out of the game. But even with them, they said, Oma Lucy 2 games, they can't continue with their coach. Right, so they parted ways. And Omdi will be an upgrade of Zakaria by in Raul Savoy. And it's paid off. And we saw, they may not have quality when it comes to playing body, but they have quality on the technical bench. Very calm, but he's working on the pitch in the psyche of the players. And it happens. Look at Leverkusen. About 2 games into the Bundesliga season, I'm saying, leave the scene. Let's get somebody. Let's be radical. Let's be drastic. Let's take a decision. Even if we qualify, Utuado is not up there to get something better for us in America, Canada, and then Mexico. Intermediate. I think the best way to go and the way forward is to take a decision tonight. Part ways with Utuado. Get somebody to stand. Absolutely, because near wire Nino, Mami is scared that against Mali, a lot of things can go against Ghana. Intermediate. If I am the appointing authority tonight, I will terminate the appointment of Utuado and get somebody to stand in. The new manager bounce no cry no get us something in the games against Mali. See, anyesa yetete ho ebe duele on issues who said they here na Mali abe shokie again in Ghana. So the way forward, and my last words, sack Utuado and let's move forward.
All right. Even though we are Shemino. Enemy Nani said the GFA will not sack Utuado, but Kofi say yes, sack Utuado. All right, so Black Stars Anko Yene, yes, 1 point per in a free game. In the game, I'm not gonna for anticipated 3 points. And come on the but still don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But share video my for comment to us. Also, who is saying your cause and expectations. In the next one against Mali on Monday. But for now, no. Like, subscribe, share, and comment.